What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Deconstructing Topic Podcast. Let's go. My name is David, your host of Deconstructing Topic Podcast, and we have a good one. Woo! The spring is here in New York City, and we got a little fan action going on. We got the birds chirping. We doing something, but hey, listen. By all means, we gotta do it, and we gotta do it. Beautiful day. And a beautiful day for me to this little nice episode of topic. We actually up to episode 30. Let's go out there. My wonderful people who have listened and have supported me, family. You guys listen out there, the Deconstructing Topic Podcast family. We doing it, that's for sure. I have to definitely appreciate you, and that's why I do these podcasts, these episodes that are engaging and very informative. A lot of things that a lot of people don't know. You already know we gotta do it, what we gotta do. Please hit the like, the comment. Feel free to share, because we opening minds, we opening lives. We doing a lot of things. We saving a mind is saving a life, like I always say. Woo, let's get it. And in this little beautiful episode, we are talking about Operation-mockingbird. And I have spoken to people about this, and a lot of people, 99% of the people who I spoke to, they're not, or let's just say we're not aware of this operation. And when I tell you, what is it about? And to me, I'm just going to go on a limb. It's still something that's relevant at the moment. But when I tell you about it, people are going to be like, interesting. Okay. But we doing something interesting. I just want to once again thank everybody out there. This is episode 30, even though I got little small episodes that are out of the norm, but officially this is episode 30, and we are about to hit the 1 year anniversary pretty soon. So make sure you follow, because I will put in the links. I'll be doing my little video thing going on, my video podcast coming up soon on the YouTube and the Rumble. It's gonna be fun. You're gonna see me. You're gonna see how handsome I am. But let's get it. It's going to be very interesting, because I'm definitely going to evolve into something where I want people to feel engaged, and I really want to educate the people, because once again, like I always say, my education, you ain't going to go college debt on me. Listen to my information, listen to my podcast. So let's make it happen. Here goes Operation-mockingbird. For those people that don't know about Operation-mockingbird, and I just want to separate, because I'll be putting the links. There's Operation and there's Project Mockingbird. Basically, Operation-mockingbird was the United States, the CIA, which is the Central Intelligence Agency of this beautiful country, obviously, who, after World War II, for those that remember World War II, for those that have an idea about World War II, that ended in 1945. But then after, what came out was the Cold War. Basically, United States and Russia being involved in proxy wars. For those not familiar with the word proxy, it happened in Korea. It happened in Vietnam. Basically, United States getting involved. Let's say in Korea, you have Korea. It's divided by two parts, North and South. Russia's the North in terms of what the Russian did, and United States in the South. The same thing with Vietnam. So basically, you kind of say it's what's happening in Ukraine. It's where Russia does something, the United States gets involved with that country, whether it's directly or indirectly, meaning that either they send in soldiers or they supporting Russia's opposition. The same thing that happened, in Korea and Vietnam, that I can think of a few, but for years after World War II, we're talking about in the 1950s and 60s, 70s, 80s. God knows. The Cold War was as a thing. And then, unfortunately, what happened is, to give you a backdrop, is that for those people who seem to kind of, let's just say, not be aware, that in World War II, Russia worked with the United States to defeat the Nazis. And Russia took a hit. They lost millions and millions of people, soldiers, but they still managed to kind of thwart the Nazis, because the Nazis was going to invade Russia. And Russia, hey, listen, whether they were ready or not ready, whatever the case might be, Russia, how can I say, they put work, as they would say in the hood, they put some work, and that's how the Nazis and then the whole thing, World War II, kind of ended. And that side, or in Europe, Japan is another different story. But the fact that you would think that these two superpowers, United States and Russia, they've collided, and they're gonna work together with saving the world from making sure that nothing like that happens again. And with the Nazis and whatever other countries that were involved in that. But no, United States went on a propaganda, because United States, you got to keep in mind, their thing was, we live in a capitalist, so-called free society, whatever the case might be. Russia, on the other hand, was under a communist party, communist government, and it's one of those deals where United States, well, hey, listen, we're not too fond of this communist system. Whatever it is, for those people not aware, I'll be doing a podcast in regards to different things. So basically, what you do with the CIA started to do, infiltrate these colleges, these students, the media, the newspaper. When I say the media, back then we're talking about newspaper and TV. TV, not a lot of people had TV, to be honest with you. So newspapers and the radio was something that you could infiltrate. Basically, the CIA would infiltrate and be like, hey, listen, if you support this, let's just say, I'll give you an example. If you was not too keen of the government, the United States government, because now, after World War II, United States went on this military kind of spending, where the military complex started, and basically, in a sense, arguably, with Operation-mockingbird, if you said something, well, I'm not too happy with this government, we spend too much money on war, then they'll call you a communist or a socialist or something that would make you like you the bad guy. And and that's not too far-fetched from what happens now. And I always tell people, listen, that's crazy, because in reality, when it comes to politics, when it comes to voting, Democrat, Republican, the duopoly, in reality, are you guys actually voting because you think you're doing the right thing? No. I often have said, you get manipulated by what the news and these different organizations tell you, so that they could push you and drive you for you to vote. When I always said, voting for these two parties, the main political party here in the United States, it's voting for the same. You're not doing any changes. And when you get manipulated, just the way that the CIA did with this Operation-mockingbird, basically you have journalists who would write something against Russia that will make Russia the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? And hey, listen, I'm not trying to give try not to say that Russia is not a country with them not have bad things, but I'm one to say that I'm not going to call out Russia without calling United States, because they both hand in hand, and depending on what side of the world you're in, I'm in this side. I know what United States has done, and when I say United States, the people that run this country have a history of taking away from other little countries, other countries get involved. I mean, the list goes on and on. For me, there was something growing up when I was watching G.I. Joe. And the propaganda in that cartoon was ridiculous. For those who know, the other Cobra, the red colors, red colors as in Russian, red colors as the Nazis, red as in China. Because, United States, the red, white, and blue, we got colorful. We got colors. The red, it seems to be the countries that seems to be doing harm. So G.I. Joe was the perfect example of propaganda. Now, whether, Operation-mockingbird still existed at that time, there's some people that believe that it doesn't exist anymore. There's no proof of it, but I said to myself, of course, now there's no proof. But obviously, you can see that there's something going on out there that you kind of tend to question, like, hey, And people started to notice there was these journalists, and then Seymour Hersh, the renowned Seymour Hersh. There was a Catherine, where Catherine Graham. She works in the Washington Post. Frank Church. These are individuals that started to notice that there was something going on, and they started to investigate what exactly was this Operation Mockingbird. And I'm gonna put the description, and basically, for those people, even to now, even for me, I always gonna go on a limb that in 2016, and when it comes to the presidential elections in general, there's something I tend to question, because, like I said, if I do question the 2000 elections, when President George W. Bush won the election with a recount that happened to be in a state that his little brother is the governor, I always say that when there's no such thing sometimes in political, whether it's a lot of times there's no such thing as coincidence. Everything just basically made up, put together, so that you would think, oh yeah, well that could happen. And if you question it, then again, you'll be called something. And even now, if you look at the situation what's going on in Israel, and for those people who are speaking on this, that's what's going on in Palestine, where, to make a long story short, Israel is going after this terrorist group called Hamas, but it seems that they're going after everybody that's Palestine. And some people are like, well, it seems that you're doing more than just looking for Hamas. All right, so what happens? If you're on the side and you say, you know what I'm saying, I'm not too fond of what Israel is doing. What does the news, some of the news organizations, some of the journalists, some of the people on TV tell you? Then you're anti-Semitism, and you get canceled. And all you're saying is that I don't agree with what Israel's doing. That's all. That's just those simple words, and you're done. They're gonna twist it, and that's what basically Operation Mockingbird. They'll do a story. They'll do a story on you, and that story, you'll be like, wow. They'll find some dirt on you, and maybe even if it's dirt, just for the sake of, let's say, if you're running for political party and you say, hey, I stand with Palestine, I'm against what Israel is doing. Oh, they'll find a story, they'll twist it, that makes you the bad guy. And that's what basically a little bit of the nutshell of Operation Mockingbird. And they recruit a lot of American journalists, meaning, because you got to keep in mind, what is a journalist, right? You write for a newspaper. You could work directly with the company, or you could be a freelancer, someone who basically writes their own stories but just sells it to a bigger company. It gives you more freedom, perhaps, quote unquote. But then you say to yourself, hey, listen, I'm going to give you a story. Let's say I'm the CIA. I'm going to tell a story that something's going to happen, and you got to write the story, but you're going to make it seem that Russia's the enemy. Even though we the ones, the CIA, United States, we the ones that started this whatever nonsense. Something happened, let's say kidnapping. Ooh, we took a couple of people from this embassy, but we're going to say it was the Russian. You wake up as an American and you read the Washington Post, the New York Times, whatever newspaper, and undercover it says Russians took X and X people from this embassy. But in reality, it was United States. And what could have been, it could have been that maybe there was a Russian worker, somebody from Russia who worked in the embassy. I don't know. Whatever they was doing. They could have been, picking up garbage, cleaning the office, cleaning the embassy. You twist this narrative, and unfortunately, for years, if you look at TV, if you look at movies, if you look at Rocky, Rocky 4, that's another propaganda there. American, got the Russia, the big guy, Drago, whatever his name is, knocking one of our, boys, Apollo, killing him. Think about it. What a propaganda that is. United States and Russia. Unbelievable. And to this day, I mean, it still exists, obviously. But the fact that we get infiltrated, and you might say, you might ask, David, what's the point of that? What do the United States get out of that? You have to understand is this. If I'm running for president, right, and I say, you know what, we spend too much money on the military, we need to help us together, we need for these taxes to go to the people, to help a lot of communities, build the roads, do this, do that, do that, do that. If I'm on that and I'm getting traction, meaning that I'm getting popular and people are saying, man, I support you, David, you know what, I'm going to vote for you. But unfortunately, for corporations, especially those military corporations and other corporations out there who might say, you know what, we can't make money with this president that's supposedly anti-war, whatever it is. So we need to do a propaganda and start machine and somewhere down the line diminish so that people could stop believing in me and then vote for the other person. And that's basically some of these stories. And unfortunately, when Trump became president or whatever the case might be, I kind of saw that there's something that I'm just not feeling, because I just think that for some reason I feel like it was scripted. And then what do you do in the media when Trump becomes president? You go out there, you attack him, and the guy, I always say, Trump is good. He's living the life. He's living better than 99.9% of the people that listen to my podcast or whatever the case might be. Whether you hate him or not, he's good. He's not going to do no jail time, whatever the fines. So I began to think, he's taking one for the team, for the elite, for the people that are really running this country. He's taking one for the team. And what did people do? They went out there and voted for Joe Biden. And look, there's a lot of people that are regretting. If you tell me that 60%, I think the last time there was this little survey on some of these liberal, media, where 60% of the people who voted for Joe Biden are against Israel. That means that 60% of those people kind of regret voting for him. But how did you get these people? How you kind of sucker these people to vote for him from the beginning? You know, you build a character in Trump. You make the news this guy the villain, that you hate this person so much that you think that by defeating him it's actually going to be a good thing. But I digress. Different story. And I want people to think that, like, Operation-Mockingbird was a thing. And it's still, again, I still see that it's a thing. But now it's not more like the CIA, but more like different agencies, different entities, whether it's private, government, that are just manipulating, pressing your buttons. But people told me, yo, I'm a smart person and I don't let nothing manipulate. Then I said to myself, who you voted for? If you voted for the same party, the same people over, then you've been manipulated. So then you don't think on your own. And this is a case in point of what happened in this country. Operation-Mockingbird is a thing. They manipulated people for decades. And once, in the late 70s, a couple of journalists did a book exposing what it was. Again, it kind of died down. But if I look, me growing up in the 80s, if I look at some of these cartoons, like I said, G.I. Joe, Rocky 4, come on now. It's there, and it's in Hollywood. It's in other entities that's not the news anymore. And it's definitely in Hollywood. It's definitely in music. And unfortunately, when I start seeing these people that, let's say they go on the Joe Biden bandwagon, and I'm telling people, listen, unplug yourself from those two. They parties, they both the same. But when I start seeing high-ranking public people, famous, going, vote for Joe Biden, and I said to myself, what happened to the kids in Palestine? Those kids, we arming Israel, my understanding. We sending money to Israel, so what does that mean? The whole propaganda that you got Joe Biden telling Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, you need to chill. You can tell him you chill, but you're still sending money. But again, how you get twisted and to think that we are on the right side of things, That's why they keep people, and that's why they shut down some of these independent content and independent thinkers and journalists that are doing the work. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this Operation-mockingbird. Woo, a CIA story. And again, I'm going to put a couple links. Like I told you, I will be doing my little so-called debut pretty soon on the video podcast, because I got so much to talk about, because I'm here to educate my people, you the listener, my family. You complete me, and that's why I do this. And trust me, I'm on the process of being the best version of myself. And with that said, I also want you to be the best version of yourself, because together we can make it happen, that's for sure. Well, my beautiful people, it's David, host of DContructingTopics podcast. Hope you enjoy this. Hit the like, comment, feel free to share. Because I'm out of here. Much love. I'm out. Peace.